some advice to passport bros coming from a passport cis, because I came to Thailand over 10 years ago and I fell in love my first day here in Koh Samui with my husband, who is Thai. I was never planning on coming here to meet a man, but that's what ended up happening. So a lot of men, they come here and they're hoping to meet a woman who's more feminine and more will fulfill that, I guess, the feminine role that they're looking for. And that is what I was attracted to my husband, not the feminine role, but I was attracted to my husband Watt because he was very masculine. When we would go out, he was very extremely protective of me. I felt safe. I loved that feeling of feeling like, wow, this is a masculine man who would kick somebody or kill somebody if they hurt me. I love that feeling, and he's always been so protective of me and wouldn't hesitate to knock someone out if I was in danger, and I didn't always feel that in past relationships. And I think there is an imbalance in the West, or coming from an American perspective, of the role of men and women. And personally, I have been in work situations where I felt like I didn't get the same advantages as men, but I didn't stay in those businesses in that, in that work environment long. I would find another job. And I have always used being a woman to my advantage. And I think there's a lot of advantages to being a woman. And I've never focused on being a victim because of my gender. And I have a successful YouTube channel where I get a lot of comments, and most of them are good, but I do get a lot of negative comments. And I noticed that a lot of the negative comments were from women, and women need to take responsibility for that. Why we feel like we need to tear another woman down, maybe because we see that she has something that we don't have, or because of jealousy. A lot of misogyny actually comes from other women and not from men. It's important to not blame other people for our problems, to take responsibility and take ownership and know that we can find a solution and that we can overcome. And if you have that mindset, that's going to work to your advantage. Now, for relationships, relationship wise, if you come and you meet a person of another culture, like I met a Thai man, you have to realize that there's going to be huge cultural differences, and the biggest issues in relationships is trust and communication. And the trust, you should be able to deal with that kind of soon. Like, you can see if someone is trustworthy, and you don't want to be with a cheater, and you should look at their family. Like, is their mom a cheater? Is their dad a cheater? Their brother and sister? Like, do they come from a family that is faithful? Or their friends, are they surrounded by friends who have a history of cheating? Do they have a history of cheating? Then communication, that's really hard, to be honest, to learn how to communicate, because Southeast Asians, they don't communicate the same way as Americans, as Europeans, because they tend to be in the now. They don't like to talk about the past, and they don't really like to focus too much on the future. It's much more of the Buddhist mindset of living in the now. But that shouldn't stop you from having a successful relationship. The biggest challenge for me was that I'm a deep thinker, and I like long conversations, and I like to talk about the world. And Watt, my husband, is just different. My husband is a simple man, and I can't have those types of conversations with him. But you know what? I am able to explain complex things to him in a simple way, and that's been good for me and for my brain, and to learn how to break things down simply. And he can give me wise advice on his perspective of that. But what I've done is that I've actively gone out and sought friends, good friends who aren't going to drag me into drinking and drugs, friends who are loyal and who have my back. And you have to do that continuously as an expat if you decide to live in another country, because you're going to always have people coming and going, and that's the reality of it. So it can be very lonely, but as long as you have love in your relationship and you love that person, you can make it work.
Yo, what's up, guys? Back again with another video for the Passport Bros. First and foremost, please hit that like, comment, subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot, and I appreciate it very, very dearly. Now, today we have this one woman. I believe she's a Western woman, but she's in Thailand, and she's speaking about her relationship where she found a Thai man in Thailand, and they have a great relationship, and they're in a loving, committed relationship. And she's basically giving advice to passport bros that we want to travel overseas to date women and find foreign, traditional, feminine women. And she's just giving us some advice. This is one of the good, women that's actually a supporter of the passport bro movement, not one of the criticizers and the haters who like to shun and throw negativity at our movement. She's actually one of the good ones. So she's basically saying that if you're looking for a good wife or a good husband, if you're a passport-minded person, not just a passport bro, but even if you're a passport sis as well, and you're just looking for, somebody to be, loyal, respectful, kind, caring, like genuine and disciplined and have morals and values, it makes sense for you to pay attention to their lifestyle, the lifestyle of the person that you're trying to take seriously. And not only that, but who they hang out with. Even go as far as to, assess what their upbringing was like, who their parents are, all these different influences that they've been around and that they've experienced. You should at least assess and take that into consideration in order to determine the type of person you're going to be in a relationship with, because that within itself will help you get a accurate depiction on their character. Quick break, guys. I just wanted to introduce to you the free money making guide to become a passport bro and sustain your lifestyle overseas. How to make money as a passport bro working remotely. Get your guide now. Join the community. The link is in the description below and in the comment section as well. Let's get this money, guys. Their mindset, their behavior, and their outlook on life in general. And I think even just, looking at their parents and how they were raised as a child, that within itself can tell you a whole lot, that you won't even have to look at their friends or look at their daily habits or look at their lifestyle. You could just know the kind of person you're dealing with just off looking at their parents. Because your parents, when you're a child, have the biggest and the most influence on you, especially when you're a child, because your mind is a sponge and you're not aware of what's going on. So any influences or teachings that they instill in you and principles and values that they instill in you is going to stick in your head. The discipline that they instill in you is going to stay with you, or the lack of discipline. However your parents are, whether they're strict, whether they're lenient, whether they're crazy, whether they're sane, those influences, whether good or bad, are going to influence you as well. And it's going to shape your character, your behavior, your personality, everything about you. It stems from how your parents are and how you were treated as a child. So that within itself can also influence the relationship, because if you're dealing with somebody who didn't have any discipline or morals and values growing up, more than likely in a relationship, they're not going to uphold or stick by those same morals and values, because they never stuck by those things and they never cared or had a respect for those values ever. So that's a very, very important thing that we have to take into account when determining the type of person we want to be with and looking for who we want to take seriously in a relationship. And one thing I wanted to point out from this woman that it definitely stuck out. One thing that she said was that she herself, moving to a whole nother country, she felt, isolated and alone at times, but she took the initiative to look out and find friends that align with the same morals and values in which she has and she abides by. She was looking for friends, and she didn't want just any type of friend. She was very cognizant to search for friends who are people who don't indulge in drugs, who don't, are into drinking a lot and partying too much. She looked for friends that aligned with the same outlook on life that she has already as well. like women or men that are respectful, are, you know, high moral, high disciplined, who have the lifestyle that is conducive to health and success and to a long-term relationship. That's the type of people that she wanted to surround herself with. See, that alone tells me the type of woman that she is. We can tell just off of that thought alone, just from that perspective alone, that she is a keeper. She is the type of woman that deserves to be a wife, that deserves to be in a relationship, because she doesn't want to break her vows. She doesn't want any influences around her that might, you know, persuade her to do certain things that are out of what she would want to do, or portray herself in ways that might not be respectful to her husband, to herself, and to her marriage. So she's actively seeking for friends who are going to bring the right and healthy influences into her life, who also align with the same morals and values in which she aligns with. It makes a lot of sense, because as a married woman, it doesn't make sense for you to be hanging around women who are constantly clubbing, constantly drinking, constantly going out doing drugs and doing things that are not healthy for you to be doing, because just being around those type of people, even if you're not partaking in those things, but you're just in that environment, you're going to be influenced to partake in something at some point. And it's going to bring up the question, why even be in that environment in the first place if you're going to be persuaded and or influenced to do things that you know you should not be doing, to be around people that you know you should not be around, that might influence you to do something that you should not do. So her even thinking like that shows the reason why she has a husband. Usually women who have this perspective and show this maturity in their mindset are usually the ones who are the best wives, and usually are the ones who have the longest and best relationships, because they know what it takes. They know what to do. They understand the blueprint. They understand the program. They understand the foundation of what it takes to have a long-term, healthy, successful marriage and relationship. And they're doing the necessary work actively to keep it that way. See, women that think like this and act like this are the type of women that we need to find. These are the type of women that we want to be with, because these are the women that are going to take their marriage seriously, their relationship seriously, and take you as a man seriously. So we have to recognize women like this, take a good look, take a real good look, take notes, and pay attention to what they look like, what they sound like, how they speak, how they think. So the next time you see a woman like this, or you encounter a woman like this, you'll know when or if she's wife material. So with that being said, guys, continue to book your flights, continue to get your passports, and continue to find the right one, because that within itself will be the most important decision you ever make in your life. Passport Bros, we up. If it ain't foreign, it's boring. If it ain't foreign, I'm ignoring. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, guys.